Muni Muni Maha Muniye Swaha. Let us make 3 prostrations to the triple jewels together.
Page 4. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha.
You're not drinking water. It's a juice at last.
I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye juda zoge chonam lai chanchu pardu dane gyalsoch dage jinso kebe sonam gi tola penjir sangye drupare sho sangye juda zoge chonam chanchu pardu dane gyalsoch dage jinso kebe sonam gi Tola benjir sanje drupare sho sanje joda soge chonam chancho bardo dane gyapso che dage jinso kebe sonam Tola benjir sanje drupare sho. P6. Essence of Dependent Origination Mantra. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Okay, this morning where we left is the second seal. All contaminated things are suffering nature. When you say contaminated here we need to know what is contamination. And the contamination contaminates something else. So contamination refers to the afflictions. Let me repeat it. Contaminations refer to afflictions. Afflictions in Tibetan is nyunmong. And afflictions, what is affliction? Affliction is defined as a mental factor, the presence of which disturbs your mind. Let me repeat it. Affliction is defined as a mental factor, the presence of which disturbs your mind. This is the meaning of affliction. So contamination, affliction, these two are synonymous. And what is affliction, or what is influenced by afflictions? These are known as contaminated things. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. So what is contaminated by the afflictions? They are of the nature of suffering. And the afflictions like what? Some of you may wonder, afflictions like what? Afflictions, for example, like, say, the anger, attachment, jealousy, and so forth. The presence of which disturbs your mind. These are the afflictions. And for this, what we need to remember is that so where the afflictions are there, mental afflictions are there, then invariably the results that we're going to experience they will be miseries. And the miseries is of three kinds. Miseries of suffering is of three kinds. One, the suffering. Number two, suffering change. Number three, pervasive condition suffering. And the first, suffering. Anyone? What does it mean by suffering? Anyone? Quick. Is this Viraj? Okay. From the look, it did not look like Viraj. From your articulation, it's Viraj. Okay. Say it again. Okay. Manifest suffering which anybody can easily identify as suffering. These are known as suffering. For example, headache, sadness, the anxiety, all these, which everybody identifies as suffering is known as suffering. In Tibetan, dunghe ke dungen, the first. Number two, suffering change. What does it mean by suffering change? Anyone? Raise hands? Okay. Tenzi Randula. All mundane happiness is suffering change. Okay. All mundane happiness, suffering change. And then don't just follow by the letter, saying that, okay, he said it must be true. Right? It's not just adequate that we're able to vomit what somebody said. So the Tenzi Randula said, all mundane happiness. And if I ask her the question, why? She has the answer, I know. So I'm not going to ask her. So, why you think that the mundane happiness, which we consider as happiness, is actually a suffering, referred to as suffering change? Why? Anyone? Yes.
Because we do not see it as suffering. So we think that mundane happiness is actually happiness, and because of that we cannot develop appreciation to actually get out of samsara. Because it's a big for us to stay
Wow. NDC2, NDC3, NDC4? And NDC3 and NMC2, which means others join NDC and NMC2. Look at the articulation, it's amazing. Anyone else? Oh, yes, the mic. So we have one IT volunteer IT staff.
He'll come.
Huh?
He'll come soon.
No, here. It's his job. Here. So please, if possible, speak through the mic because it's being recorded. Yes, again, yes.
Sure. So suffering of change
And if
is...
possible, identify your name also. Edward will identify you.
Sure. So my name is Branislav, and suffering of change is suffering that we misperceive it to be happiness, so like mundane happiness. And the problem is that because we perceive mundane happiness to be happiness, we do not wish to get out of samsara, and we cannot like develop renunciation. So it is basically a bait which keeps us in the prison of samsara. So that is suffering of change.
Wonderful. Okay, anyone else? Yes, over there. The mic, there should be two mics. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. My name is Leon. Suffering of change called that way because I think it's just the release from previous suffering. We think when we experience joy that it's like true happiness, but it's just release from previous suffering. Like when I eat food, I release from hunger, but if I keep eating food, it becomes suffering. It's not pleasant anymore.
Okay, thank you. Okay, what I would say is that suffering, in fact, all the answers given, they're brilliant. Okay, yes, over there. Your name?
Меня зовут Тензин. Думаю, что страдание перемен это страдание потому, что он не приносит постоянного удовлетворения. Вначале кажется, что это счастье, но в итоге оборачивается страданием, поэтому называется страданием перемен.
I think the suffering of changes is called suffering because it doesn't give us constant feeling of happiness. At a certain moment, it just ceases to be, and it doesn't give a constant feeling of happiness.
Okay, it doesn't give a constant happiness. It changes. Very good. Okay, over there. Your name? With the mic.
This is a question, actually.
Your mic. Your name.
My name is Pushpa.
Pushpa, yes.
Is this a momentary happiness which leads to further suffering? Like we think is happiness, but that's leading to a suffering. Like, for example, okay, I bought a Mercedes. Oh, I'm so happy about it. And next one, I want a Porsche, so I have to suffer to get to that.
So what about if you get a Porsche, there was a problem?
No, till then, it's a suffering to
Why?
acquire that. Because to get to that, you need to do lots of things. Which
If you get it, then it's not a suffering.
Well, again, it leads to something else. There's no end for this moment.
What is next?
I don't know. People, for me, that's where, but for other person, it may be something else. So is this suffering which leads to a suffering?
That's very good. Thank you. Vlada? Yes.
I don't know how's my English good or not, but sometimes people afraid future, like something what is happening for future, and people don't know what is it, and it's not happened already, but people already feel
Suffering.
pain, suffer, scare, or something like that.
The prospective suffering of the future, and then you suffer now, right? You just imagine that this can happen to me in the future, I may suffer. You're not suffering, still you're suffering. Self-creation. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much. For this, what we need to know is number one, we need to know that how mundane happiness is suffering, number one. Because we say suffering of change, there are two words there. How mundane happiness is suffering, this is number one. You have to address this. Number two, why? Once you are convinced that mundane happiness is actually suffering, the next question is, why is this mundane happiness referred to as suffering of change? Why change? Okay, so two things. The first one, why or how is this mundane happiness referred to as suffering? In what way it is suffering? Anyone? In what way it is suffering? Then comes the next. Why is it known as suffering? Change, the word change. This is the second part. Anyone? Okay, Din Shambhala.
So, mundane happiness is suffering because it is unreliable, short-lasting, and unsatisfactory. So inevitably, it will lead into suffering. So its nature is suffering.
Okay, it is unreliable, and then eventually it leads to suffering. Okay, is this Deepak? Oh, nice to meet you. Deepak for NCC or NDC4?
NCC2 and NMC2.
Okay, thank you.
So the impermanence involved with that happiness is mundane thing, because whatever happiness we are thinking that this is happiness is not going to be permanent, and then the absence of that in future will again cause problem.
Absence of?
Absence of that happiness. Like for example, if suppose the same example, if I have a Mercedes Benz today and I'm happy, tomorrow if it is not there, and I will be sad. So it is keep on changing. The nature of change of that happiness is giving this mundane happiness is the name, is what I think.
Okay, so why is that suffering?
Because it is not permanent. I can't be happy continuously.
So why should it be a problem if it is not continuous?
Because my happiness is dependent on that. Any object, any object with that I am attached to, suppose if it is not there, it will create suffering, right?
Are you sure?
It has to be like that.
Okay. Some people, they go into alcohol and then slip into addiction. Some people, they are very smart. They know moderation. Right? They go for the one shot. They don't go for the second shot. Some people, they go for the first shot and second shot and full stop. They know the moderation. Right? And you give the third one, they will say no. Right? So they don't crave for the third one. They have the first one, second one, full stop. So what's the problem with this?
That is one aspect, but even that one shot or two shot is going to give you a temporary happiness only till the time that alcohol influence is
What's
there.
the problem if it's temporary?
Because it is not going to be continuous. After half an hour,
No,
once their influence is gone,
why should it be continuous? He knows that it's going to change. He knows that it's going to disappear. But he likes to enjoy it. He enjoyed it in full stop. What's the problem? Okay, here. Okay, these are not, I'm not challenging anybody. You getting it? The point is that we need to ask these questions. Asking these questions will help us to fine-tune your thoughts. Your thought processes will be fine-tuned. These are extremely helpful to sharpen our intelligence. Yes, over there. Your name?
My name is Maya. Maya.
Yes.
So
Mayank or Maya?
Maya.
Okay.
As far as we go, the mind is still not purified, so we confuse these temporary pleasures with the genuine happiness, which means the problem is, it's not a problem when you experience like temporal happiness, but it's a problem that you grasp it as a only happiness to exist.
Only happiness meaning?
That there is no other happiness, only these things as a temporal pleasure can give me happiness. So as far as I'm going on that grasping and attachment, that's the only happiness that I know right now.
No, some people, they're very smart. They go for the simple alcohol. They know that's a better alcohol, but I like this first shot, it's good enough.
Yeah,
They
temporal
enjoy-
pleasure.
That's good. So what's wrong with this?
There is nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong. It's not suffering.
No. I
So
mean,
therefore, mundane happiness is not suffering.
the wrong thing comes that when you think that that's the only happiness in the world, the only
If we
happiness.
don't think that is not the only happiness, then it's not suffering change. So definitely suffering
is-
change has to be changed.
Maybe.
Okay. So did you see where you are, where you lapse? Did you see where the
No.
okay, what I said is that as per the definition, all mundane happiness should be suffering change. Even though you know the moderation, you know you don't cling to this, still it is suffering change. It is suffering. So you said it's not. So definition has to be changed, because as per definition, all mundane happiness should be suffering. Okay, tenzi sherabla.
Geshe.
Tenzi yeshe.
Geshe.
Tenzi yeshela, yes.
Thank you, Geshe, for. Yeah. I think it's the relationship with the things that we the problem. No, the belief that something have some.
Okay, let's start it over again. Why is mundane happiness suffering?
Because we believe that there is a pill of happiness in this happiness.
It is?
A pill of happiness inside of this object or this mundane engagement.
It is not happiness?
A true happiness, no, because it's
What do you mean by true happiness? Okay. Anyone? Okay, here, the lady here. Mike.
Все мирское счастье является страданием, потому что это все находится в сансаре. А в сансаре работает взаимозависимое возникновение. То есть, если я сегодня выпила 2 рюмки, это не значит, что мне завтра будет хорошо. Потому что причинно-следственная связь работает. Поэтому все мирское счастье является страданием в сансаре.
Encapsulated in samsara, it all confined in samsara. That's why, because in samsara there is a principle of dependent origination. If I today drink 2 shots, then this will be the reason for the upcoming suffering. So the mundane happiness is suffering because it is confined within the samsara.
Okay.
And everything that takes place in samsara.
Wonderful. It makes sense. Thank you. Over there.
Ташинделе, меня зовут Валерия. Мне кажется, все мирское счастье есть страдание, потому что мы не свободны в выборе очень часто. И, например, сегодня мне один человек нравится, а завтра может что-то произойти, то есть это притяжение сначала происходит, а потом отторжение. И все это как бы не под моим контролем.
I think that mundane happiness is suffering because we are all unfree in doing our decisions. For example, today I may like someone, and the next day, other day, I can feel dislike. I can feel that I'm not going into this person. So, because we lack freedom, we don't have this freedom to make a decision. We are doing these uncontrollable decisions, and that's why we are mundane happiness is suffering.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, this is very good. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Okay, in fact, I would say that what the Viraj and Brinslav, 2 of them already, in fact, all what you said, in a way, it is a part of what 2 of them said, saying that this is very important for us. Of course, first we have to learn it. You may not be able to feel it. We have to learn it. And then you learn it, we think about it more and more and more. And gradually we come to feel that this indeed is suffering. So this is how we have to grow. Simply because we learn it doesn't mean that you should be already a realized being. No, don't expect that, such a big transformation. First we have to learn it, how there's intellectually, and then think more, then it becomes your knowledge. So, let's say that the one analogy that I like to give is, oftentimes which I give, is like, say, the two prisons. Two prisoners, prisoner A and prisoner B. Prisoner A, they say they were being arrested and they were to be kept, they have to go through capital punishment, which means like after 1 year, execution. And for 1 year they have to survive, and that they have to make sure that these two don't escape. So they are put in the prison A and prison B. So prisoner A is in the prison A by the prison guard A. And prison guard A, first of all, he brings in the prisoner A and being so nice to the prisoner A. So nice, creating, so he creates swimming pool in the prison. And he brought Starbucks in the prison. And what else? Beautiful gardens in the prison. And then once in a while the prison guard comes to talk to you. How you must be feeling bored. So why not we have a cup of tea together, a cup of coffee together? You have a cup of coffee, what you used to do when you were young and so forth. And then you don't get a feeling that you're in a prison. And your mother comes to visit you, informing that you are in prison, you have to escape. And what would you say? You would say that, no, Mom, don't disturb me. It's so beautiful. If you want to join me. Right? Then the prisoner B, the prison guard was so rude, slapping every day, every morning, slaps you, make you work when you go through hard labor work, and hardly anything to eat, and so forth. Forget about swimming pool, the Starbucks and so forth. So just imagine, before 1 year completes, if there's one prisoner escaped, and then the next day the two prisoners to be produced, to be hanged or to be executed, and if one of the two prisoners is missing, tell me, which of the two prisoners most likely is the one who escaped? Prisoner A or prisoner B? Anyone? B, raise hands. Prisoner B? Very good. Okay, then the prisoner A would be thinking that, oh, my friend is also with me now. So the prison guard would tell you that, okay, now you're going to be executed, right? So I'm with my prisoner B. And then there's no prisoner B, only him. Then what will he feel? Prisoner B has already escaped. Freedom. Now he's going to die. What will he feel? Why he's here and prisoner B is not there? Why? Tell me. What made the prisoner A to undergo this execution and prisoner B escaped? Why? Anyone? Anyone quake?
I know how to say Russian. Влечение, как мирское счастье, да, влечение. It's not like passion, it's like something what wanna, like it's good, everything, it's not good, but it's some illusion about it's good, and person stay in this is illusion, something like that.
So my question is, what would the prisoner A feel that prisoner B has escaped, now he is to be executed, what will he feel and why he feels that way? The Sirindawala, Mike.
Kesla, prisoner A will feel so uncomfortable and painful because he is completely engrossed in samsaric pleasure and beauties and everything. So his mind got totally attached with all these things. Because of this, he didn't get any idea to when to go out from samsara, when to go out from prison.
Yes, very good. Okay, gentlemen here.
Geshe, my name is Sergey. I think prison A will feel very confused and devastated because he lost the track of time and all of a sudden he needs to be executed tomorrow.
Yes, so he'll feel extremely confused and so upset. Prisoner B, he knows the reason why prisoner B escaped. Right? He knows he has been constantly getting feedback from the prisoner B that my prison guard is so bad, he's beating me, he's not giving me food. So he's getting all this information. Now that he is being beaten up, he's not giving proper food and so forth, these are the reasons why he escaped. And why prisoner A is now under execution is because of that he was lured by the swimming pool, beautiful garden, Starbucks and so forth. You getting it? So what is responsible? What is responsible for the prisoner A to undergo execution? What is responsible? Whatever is that factor which is responsible for the prisoner A to undergo execution, that should be suffering. So what is responsible for that? Magla is saying comfort, Jainla, meaning the swimming pool. You're getting it? The swimming pool, the mundane happiness, comfort, swimming pool, then the Starbucks and these things. And then what will be the moment the prison guard A comes, hey, so you remember your swimming pool. What would be his response to the swimming pool now? Aversion will come. You agree? Aversion will come to swimming pool and the Starbucks. Earlier he was trapped by these two. Now he feels aversion because these are the responsible for him to undergo execution. You getting it? So what gives you aversion? Is that suffering or is this happiness? What gives you aversion? Is that suffering or this is happiness? Pramilaji? Suffering. It is not a happiness. You're getting it? What gives aversion? Now, who's more matured? Prisoner A, first month and the last day. First month he was so lured by the swimming pool and so forth. And the last day he feels so a great aversion to the swimming pool and so forth. So who's more matured? Prisoner A in the first month or the prisoner A that the day before the execution? Who's more matured? The last day before the execution. He's more matured. You getting it? So he became more matured because he realized the deeper reality. This is all lure. So what the Viraj and the Branislav said is the bait. So what is bait? Bait is to trap the fish. And bait is what? Is it hook or it is metal or what? What is bait? Is a worm. Is for the fish, is it delicious or it's not delicious? It should be a very delicious one. You're getting it? That's a bait. So bait is an amazing word which fits in this definition so well. Because bait has the connotation of something which is very nice and also a hook to trap you. Also a trap. The delicious is good or bad. Hey, don't think that you're philosophers, you're enlightened beings. Just say delicious, good or bad? Good. So delicious has the ability to lure you. It's good. And the trap is good or bad? bad. You're gonna, these two combined together in one word, bait. It's amazing. So therefore, the suffering change. It is suffering because it is a trap. The bait is a trap. And also that trap, and also that it is suffering change because initially you experience this as delicious. And then it changes to miseries, deeper miseries. So this is suffering change. Okay, good. Yes, yes. Mike.
Hello, I'm Mark. So the practitioner who's realized this, do they experience both happiness and suffering?
Okay,
and
this
they take action to not be trapped.
Okay, so this is a good question. In fact, how many of you understood Mark's question in his hands? So a practitioner who realizes that the mundane happiness is a bait. So what is his or her reaction towards the mundane happiness when he or she meets with the mundane happiness? What's the reaction? So this is where, for example, say let's say that our body, it is the body is given the metaphor of a boat. You have to cross the river of misery. So for which we need the boat to cross. And the boat is precious or not? Huh? At that moment, yes. It's very precious. Because you are at the moment, you are yet to cross the river. So you have to cross the river of the samsara. So you're here, for you the boat is so precious. So this boat, precious human birth, this is a boat to cross. Using this boat, then you can just keep rowing, and then get to the other shore and leave the boat. So which means that human birth is so precious. So this boat must be taken care of till you reach your desired goal. So how to take care of this body? This body requires daily food. Yes, no? Right? It requires daily food. And temperature-wise, it should not be, without the facilities, it should not be hitting above in 40s. And it should not be going below like the 10 and so forth. Some body can bear the 0 degree, but in general speaking, our body has a set limit. So we should take care of this body. For this, okay, this is not good, this is too spicy, or this is too bland, because that the body require the food. So with the food, say when it's delicious, say the practice, you have to depend on the food, and the food has a taste. Food has a taste. So, for example, like His Holiness Kandin Tirumbuche, when the Tirumbuche, Gebje Rizon who passed away. In fact, for him, whatever food that you offer, he will take. Whatever food that you offer. Of course, he was vegetarian. He passed away. Then, if the attendants, they ask, Rinpoche, the food seems like there's too much salt. It's very salty. Then Rinpoche will say that, oh, I didn't notice it. Let me see. You're getting it? Oh, Rinpoche, I'm sorry, I forgot to add salt to this. He said, I didn't notice. I'll see. You're getting it? So this is a real practitioner. Highly realized practitioner, not just a practitioner, highly realized practitioner who reached to a high level whereby actually this is a management. I require the food. Eat food, not for the sake of the taste. Right? Good. Okay. Next is pervasive conditioned suffering. Okay. Yes.
Hi, Geshe, this is Nisho. How do you distinguish between mundane happiness and more permanent or true happiness when it is happening?
Mundane happiness, let's put it like this, mundane happiness versus supramundane happiness or transcendental happiness. So what's the difference? So this is a good question. That's a good question. I don't know how to give the answer. Anyone who likes to help me, how do you distinguish between mundane happiness and the supramundane happiness? Anyone who likes to give the answer? Okay, over there. The mic over there. Let us listen. This is an interesting question. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jonathan from Atlanta, Georgia. And I go back to the fourth nirvana is peace. So what is nirvana? And that's a permanent state of peace and happiness as opposed to mundane happiness, which would be more ephemeral.
Okay, out of the four seals, we are talking about at the moment we are talking the second one. All contaminated things are suffering nature, and the third one, everything's nature, emptiness, selflessness, and fourth one, transcending soul is absolute peace, or nirvana is peace. So that is the supramundane happiness. So his question is, what's the difference? How do you distinguish the two? Okay, over there.
Geshe, my name is Bindu. I'm from Goa. I think mundane happiness involves or is triggered by an external factor, and super mundane happiness just comes from within.
Okay, that's interesting. Interesting means it's interesting. Right? Very good point of view. Very good point of view. Mundane happiness comes from the trigger of external factors, and the supramundane happiness comes from the internal source. Okay, Shoheli.
Pranam Geshe. Actually, my mother asked me this question, so I tried to explain to her. So that's the answer I'm going to give now also.
Yes.
So when
Your mother challenged you further or not?
No.
No. No. Okay.
So
how smart is your mother?
Not very
okay,
smart.
It doesn't matter. But the question is very smart. Yes, okay.
So if one piece of cupcake is giving me 1 unit of happiness, mundane happiness.
Say it again.
Like
1 cup of?
1 piece of cheesecake equals to, if I put it like this, 1 piece of cupcake equals to 1 unit of happiness. But 10 unit of cheesecake doesn't mean that it will give 10 unit of happiness. So that's the reason how I'm differentiating between mundane happiness and super mundane happiness. If it is super mundane happiness, like helping someone or showing, doing any kind of act of kindness, then like helping 1 person equals to 1 unit of happiness, helping 10% is equals to 10 unit of happiness.
So that is supramundane happiness.
Yes, for me, that's how I explained. So I thought I will give that answer.
Okay, how many of you don't agree with what Shohidi said? That helping somebody else, you get the joy. And this joy is a supramundane happiness. And how? That's a different story. That's supramundane happiness. How many don't agree with what Shohidi said? Okay. Losandela, yes. Mike.
So the happiness that comes from helping someone is not necessarily super mundane. It could be, but there's also lots of mundane happiness that comes from helping others. So
okay, so what Venerable Dalai is saying, that even helping others. So how would you demarcate? Helping others, and you get the joy which is not supramundane. Can you give me an example?
I think the same analogy works just fine, because you can help 10 people and not be happy at all. It doesn't actually equate
No, this is not the point. You help somebody and you get the joy.
Yeah.
That joy, sometimes you may not get joy, you may get frustrated.
Right.
I help and then you give a damn to me.
Oh.
right? So that is a different story. I help and I get joy. That joy, is that supramundane or not?
Not generally.
Why not?
Because it's still contaminated.
How?
Because it was motivated by ignorance.
How?
Because the person who did it has self-grasping ignorance that was a cause of their action to do it. The
Okay,
first of the
how
12
is, for example, let's say, I don't realize emptiness. Let's say, I don't realize emptiness, and then I help somebody, I get a joy. So this joy that I get out of helping others, is it supramundane or mundane happiness?
You're meaning you as actually...
Me. A person A who doesn't realize emptiness,
Okay.
helped person B and acquired happiness. So
Right,
this
that's-
happiness,
That's mundane happiness.
how?
Because the obscuration that is the opposite of realizing emptiness is grasping at things to be truly
Oh,
established.
what makes you think that he grasps it to existence? Not necessary.
Mm,
Okay, think about it.
I will. Thank you.
Yes, over there. Okay, first here, then here.
Thank you, Geshe. My name is Nicholas. I might be wrong. I'm not super sure about the terminology, but I think about it a lot as, let's say a person's a river, but they're convinced they're thirsty, you know? And
Say it again.
Someone, like you're a river, but you think
Okay.
you're thirsty.
Person is a river.
Yes, but you
And
believe
person-
you're thirsty. You're so convinced, oh, I'm so thirsty, so thirsty, even though your
Can you
nature
give me a
is
real
water.
example?
It's the most real. My mind is like this. I don't know. But it's this. So let me say. So let's say I'm a river, but I believe I'm thirsty. So
Give me a
I
real
need a cup
example.
of water.
Don't say that I'm a river. I'm not never
Okay,
river.
I'm a human, but
Yes.
I believe. Well, I hope I'm a human, but I really believe that I need to affirm this sense of self. I believe that I have need outside of my nature. I need something external. So in that need of, that illusion of lack, which I call thirsty, in that illusion of lack, any action that's motivated outside of that which deludes my true nature is samsaric happiness. Because it's a relief that comes from an external force that disguises the fact that my actual nature is complete
Okay,
happiness.
let me put it like this. Say I help somebody else,
Mm.
and it gives me joy.
Yeah.
So this joy, is it mundane happiness or supramundane happiness?
My answer would be that if it is that which comes from the perspective that it's not diluting my true nature, in that if I'm thinking there's an other and there's a self, and that I need to help the other, and I get satisfaction because it affirms my sense of selfhood,
So if
then
I
I don't believe it's
If I help without the belief, without the thought that if I
Yes.
help, I'll be happy. Instead of that, I just help it because that person needs help.
I help and no, I don't think it's super mundane. I don't think
It's mundane. It's not mundane.
I think it's, yes, I think
Is
that's mundane happiness.
How?
I think it's mundane happiness because it's still profiting off the illusion that there's an other and that there's a self. But I can give without this illusion. So I think, is there a preface that I'm giving from the aspect of self and other? Or is it coming from the
What's the
perspective of
problem?
emptiness?
What's the problem if there's a sense of self and other, and then you give us a problem?
I
How
mean,
is it
personally-
mundane?
Yeah, I just feel like it's a continuation of obscuration. I feel like even in that action, I'm still doing something that, even though it's pure and I get benefit, that joy that arises is not coming from a place of truly understanding the nature of what I'm giving and who's receiving and the giver.
What is the true nature of what I'm giving?
Well, I haven't realized it, but I think I haven't. But you know, I think
Okay,
along this
thank
line,
you.
the true nature is that which doesn't need.
Thank you, wonderful.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Here. Okay, this is a serious question. Nishok.
У обычных сушиц это мирское счастье, а у ариев это на уровне пути видения. Дальше у ариев это надмирское счастье, когда они постигают пустотность напрямую, и все объекты становятся незагрязненными.
for the ordinary samsaric beings, they experience mundane happiness, and as for the Aryas, the one who achieved the path of seeing and so on, they experience supramundane happiness because they have the direct realization of emptiness, and what they experience is not solid, is not contaminated with the grasping.
Okay, good. Very good. Very good. Anyone else? Okay. Benla, tenzing sela.
Thank you, Geshe. I'll try. So supramundane should be what is outside of samsara or leads to outside of samsara. And what is mundane is in samsara or keeps us in samsara.
So are we in samsara or outside samsara?
Our mind is in samsara.
Our mind is in samsara. So we are all in samsara. In this all, we are in samsara or outside samsara?
Samsara is a mental state, not a physical.
It's a mental state. It's a mental state. What is samsara then? What kind of mental state you call as samsara? These are very profound questions. You're getting it? We don't even identify what is samsara. So what Venati said is that samsara is a mental state. So my question is, what kind of mental state do you qualify it as samsara? What kind of mental state do you qualify as nirvana?
So samsara is marked by suffering.
Or samsara marked by suffering. So there are many people who say, no, I'm not suffering. Right, so it's not samsara?
Suffering, there are three types of suffering.
3 types of suffering. Very good. Thank you. Okay, then Shambhala.
So about the example of someone helping someone and getting joy. So first of all, I'm not sure if there is like pervasion, like does it necessarily always be mundane suffering or super mundane suffering? But I have an example where it would not be mundane suffering. Like, wait, I have an example where it would not be super mundane happiness. Like let's say I help someone, and then after a while it stops. Like my happiness is not lasting; it's very short lasting. So this would be mundane happiness. Or another thing is maybe I help someone, and then someone hurts this person, and then I become angry at them. So in a way, me helping them was the cause of my anger and the cause of my suffering. So I would say mundane, like super mundane happiness would not be would be long lasting, and also it would not lead to suffering.
Okay, supramundane happiness is something which should be lasting, number one. Number two, it should not be easily affected by other factors, like somebody not reciprocating the good gesture, your kindness, and then you feel angry. So these should not be, the anger should not really destruct your supramundane happiness. Very good.
But can I say one more thing? I think maybe this example could also be super mundane happiness. Let's say, because we talked before about, like with Venla, you talked about nirvana. What is nirvana? Let's say like a Bodhisattva or a Buddha would help someone. It's the same action, but maybe in their mind it would have super mundane happiness. Let's say a Buddha would help someone. It's the same action as a being helping another being, but I would say that in the mind of a Buddha, it would have super mundane happiness.
How?
I'm not sure exactly.
Okay. Okay. This is samsara.
Just on that last, the how is because they would be motivated by altruism, by bodhicitta, and someone who is not a bodhisattva or a Buddha would be motivated by self-grasping ignorance.
So if the happiness that comes from helping others, if there is motivated bodhicitta, then it is supramundane.
With the being an Arya being, past the path of seeing. So
Okay,
there's
so
no
you
more
have to,
contamination.
minimum you should have the path of seeing level, minimum. Is what I'm saying? Okay, so why? Why that is required?
Because then they have reached nirvana.
Huh?
They've reached nirvana. Or
Path of seeing is nirvana? No. 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 Okay, the lady over there. This is a very good question. So everybody's thrown into, confusion.
Меня зовут Наталья, здравствуйте. Я хочу сначала уточнить у человека, который задал этот вопрос, что он имел в виду, задавая этот вопрос Гешела. Что подразумевал сам задающий под надмирское, что значит надмирское счастье в вашем понимании? Что значит мирское счастье?
Before I ask, my name is Natalia, and I would like to clarify some points. The one who asked Geshe-la a question about the supramundane happiness. How do you define supramundane happiness? What is supramundane happiness in your opinion?
Okay, so this is what he asked. This is a question asked by Nisho. No. Nisho asked this question, and I said that I don't know. I don't know, and I want the audience to give the answer. So all the answers came, and I in a way, like challenged them. With each one of the answers given, I challenged them. Okay, over here. Mike.
Geshe-la, my
Yes.
name is, it's working, it's Igor. So I think maybe every phenomena or every kind of happiness, let's say, experience of happiness, that is contaminated with klesha, and in some level, it should be categorized as mundane happiness.
Okay, happiness which is influenced by afflictions.
Either completely grasped by afflictions or tainted by it.
Tainted by afflictions, or grasped at by, captured by affliction, that is known as mundane happiness. Okay. Can you give me some examples?
If, let's say, helping someone, if this is tainted by any kind of the three main afflictions or the 6 root afflictions. Like
Okay, let's put it
ignorance.
like this. Say the same example which the Shohili gave. Say you wholeheartedly help somebody and you get a joy. So, and then, yes, I did not realize I am yet to realize emptiness. So with this, forget about the path of seeing. Forget about the seeing, no real emptiness, but I wholeheartedly help somebody, I get a joy. So this joy, is this influenced by affliction, tainted by affliction, or grasped by affliction?
It depends, I think, on the state of mind of the person, on the motivation of the person.
Motivation so pure.
Okay. If it's so pure, no.
Then it's supramundane.
No any expectation.
No expectation,
or
100%.
Self-expectation.
So?
I would say.
Supramundane.
Yeah.
Okay.
According to my logic, it would be.
Okay, here, Anna. Okay, Mike. Okay, this is very interesting.
So I think despite your person who is very pure-hearted and good intention, if it's not accompanied by the wisdom of emptiness, then it is still mundane.
How?
Because it doesn't tally with reality, it's still within duality and afflicted by ignorance.
How ignorance? Well, wholeheartedly.
Because it's not tallying with how things exist.
No, it does exist. Whether the person is there is a reality.
Not ultimately.
No, I'm not helping you ultimately. I'm conventionally helping you.
My understanding is the supramundane happiness, it has to be accompanied by emptiness, and an example
It should
would
become
be
the wisdom of emptiness.
wisdom of emptiness, and an example
So how
would
does it
be
make it supermundane? Tell me.
because it transcends ordinary, it's uncontaminated, it's not contaminated by affliction, so it's not contaminated
No,
by ignorance.
how uncontaminated? Because I said that, for example, you do it very with the purest of your heart. Help somebody, although you have no realization of emptiness.
Yeah.
So how would you say this is contaminated?
It's still contaminated by self-grasping ignorance.
How?
Because there's still a referential self. There still doesn't accord with reality, with how things exist.
No, it accords. Yes, I'm you're existent, I'm existent, I'm helping you, you're helped, I can happiness. What's wrong? Appearance, inherent existence. Okay, the maybe, so it's already 1 o'clock, the one over there, last. Mike. Yes, your name? No, the gentleman.
My name is Sankalp. I think like if it is a conditional thing, then it will be mundane. Suppose if there is no person which is unhappy, all are happy, then you cannot help anyone. So how will you generate happiness for yourself? Still, if you are happy, then it can be like super mundane. And if you are like getting happiness just for a purpose, maybe just because of a condition, then it can be a normal mundane.
Okay, so the supermundane may not necessarily be accompanied by the wisdom of emptiness, is what I'm saying. If it's just for yourself, even though it is not accompanied by the wisdom of emptiness, it can still be supermundane, is what I'm saying.
I'm saying like it is independent of
Without any the dependency.
Yes.
Then it should be supermundane.
Yeah, you will not think about it like if you are helping it, if you are helping anyone or if you are not helping, it will be like, it will be there inside you.
Okay, naturally coming to you
It
without
will
the thought, that becomes supermundane.
It will be super mundane.
Okay, the lady over there.
Thank you, Geshe. I think for Arya beings from the path of seeing and above who have already realized, have the direct realization of emptiness, and they come motivated by pure bodhicitta, then whatever the help that they give to other beings, that will be supermundane happiness.
The happiness that you get
yes,
becomes supermundane.
yes,
How?
And because they have directly realized.
Okay, the qualification that was your name?
Suzanne.
What qualification that Suzanne brought here? The two things. One is that you should have the direct realization of the emptiness, number one, and you as an Arya being with the bodhicitta intent, then whatever benefit that you give to somebody else, then you feel the joy. That joy or the happiness is supermundane.
And
How?
Because you directly realize and you can see the ultimate reality.
So what if you see ultimate reality, how does it become supermundane?
Well, it's supermundane because you are Arya being, no? Because it's not tainted, because you already directly realize, you already see the ultimate reality. But however, if you are
So
just
why this joy when accompanied by direct realization emptiness makes this joy supermundane? How? The lady over here.
Well, hello, I'm Olga. I don't have an answer, but I wonder if there is a joy actually while we are realizing directly the emptiness. Because we read in Heart Sutra that in the emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no eye, no nose, no anything. So it means that we are above all the mundane feelings, joy included. So when we developing the bodhicitta and we helping others, we're not necessarily experiencing the joy. It's our nature, bodhicitta nature in itself is content, but it's not a feeling because we are in the
So
emptiness.
there is no the happiness known as
This is the happiness of a different kind.
but you're not experiencing happiness.
Hmm?
You're not experiencing happiness at that point. There's no feeling there.
There is this.
Emptiness, there's no form, no feeling.
There is a bliss.
There's no bliss also, including bliss. Okay, and this is okay. They get the youngest one always gets the privilege. Yes.
Geshe, I'm not sure, but I'll try to answer. Geshe, mundane happiness is like everyday pleasure experiences, and whereas super mundane is more stable and profound, and it does not rely on external factors.
Can you give us some examples? One example of super mundane happiness.
Like if you are helping someone,
Yes.
with
Pure heart.
with a pure heart,
Yes.
like from your side, and I think it's super mundane.
Okay. Okay. So, Arjuna, you want to say something? So here, Arjuna. Okay, this is a good question.
Geshe, I just want to try that we understood mundane happiness, which traps us in samsara. So for the supramundane happiness, I don't know, I thought of like it can be of two types. Supramundane happiness, that one, how others say that with bodhicitta and wisdom emptiness, having that, and one supramundane happiness, that the provisional, which I'm just naming it, because like say the happiness that we get from the studying, reflecting on text, those are the causes which leads to the out of samsara, so that would be provisional supramundane happiness, and the supramundane happiness one, other people with the bodhicitta.
So real supramundane, not the provisional, real supramundane happiness is the one accompanied by the non-dual wisdom of emptiness with the bodhicitta. This is what I'm saying. Then the Arahat state don't have supramundane happiness.
Ira still has gross self-centered attitude, so they don't.
So they don't have supramundane happiness. Okay. So one thing is that we need to have the facts. You're getting it? We need to have the facts. And if the facts are missing, then in fact, the people who are bringing the wisdom of emptiness, bodhicitta, so forth, they are trying to bring the facts. So this is so important. And who's going to remind me for this answer to this question? Okay, many hands are coming up. So, Nishok, you don't have to worry. There are so many hands coming up. Okay, so it's already 1:14, and I'll be happy to. In fact, this is, although it's not a direct, they say what we are going to study, although these are not direct, they say the topics related to this question, but then somehow they are all related to this. We will touch this. In case if you don't touch, there are so many hands coming up, you make sure that you remind me. This is a very important question. You're getting it? And if you get an answer to this question, it is such a relieving feeling to us, relieving. You feel that this is the real dharma. This is so important. Otherwise, I can give answer very simply. The feeling of the lightness which accompanies the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, that is a supramundane happiness, as simple as that. And you will not get anything out of this. You don't understand anything out of this. Let me say this, the feeling of lightness, the feeling of the ease that accompanies the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, or the feeling of ease that accompanies the direct realization of the emptiness, that is the supramundane happiness. Versus the rest of the feelings, the rest of the pleasant feelings, they are the mundane happiness. There's a difference. But we will not get anything out of this. So the point is that understanding the distinction between the two, we should get a feeling that, okay, this is why we're in samsara. If we get out of samsara, this supramundane happiness, this is the meaning, and this is the meaning of getting out of samsara. So this is the ultimate solution to all the problems, where all the tears of samsara stops altogether. So this is supramundane happiness. Okay, so we have to, yes, we will touch this area. This is a very important question. Okay, so we'll stop here. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhiswaha. Three persuasions together.
Om Muni Muni Maha Muniye Swaha. 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 Om Muni Muni Maha Muniye Swaha.